Hello crafty friends, this is the Paper Chef here. Welcome to our Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog Launch 2019. Today is the day where you can actually get the products that I'm going to be demonstrating instead of having to wait. And my website is right here, so you can order anything that you like that you see me use today. Alright, so what we're going to be doing is based on a viewer request. A couple of videos ago, I created 10 projects using the Hugs from Shell Paper Pumpkin Kit. And I created this, in that video I showed you one of the 10 projects was this nugget holder, these Hershey Nugget holder. Okay, and the little candies come out, they're 2 candies wrapped in coordinating paper. And I explained that I'm going to be sending these to my Paper Pumpkin customers, and I showed like some other projects, and this is how I packaged those thank you gifts for my Paper Pumpkin customers. Welcome to Paper Pumpkin. My Paper Pumpkin subscribers, that is. All right, so during that video, Frenchie, she's been my viewer and my engaged viewer, very happy to say, for over a year now. So she's always commenting on my YouTube channel. And she said something that just made my day. She said, "You've made my life happy. Can you show us how to make your nugget tags, please? Thanks for sharing your helpful videos." Okay, so Frenchie, this is for you. I'm going to show how to make this from start to finish. But keep in mind, crafty friends, that I'm going to show you the manual way, but keep in mind that I actually cut all my parts with the Brother ScanNCut ahead of time. But I want to make this video for everybody so that everybody can do it and follow along. Okay, so you're going to need, this is what you're going to need. And if you don't have exactly what I have, maybe if you're a demonstrator you have exactly what I have, but if not, you know, you're going to just use what you have in your house and follow along. You're going to need cardstock. You're going to need designer series paper. I've already shown how to cut this out with the Brother ScanNCut, but just quickly I want to show you the different pieces of designer series paper that go in the Bird Ballad collection. Okay, so I'm going to be using embellishments that are already cut out. Okay, and then you just use coordinating. And that wasn't all of them, that was just for an example. Okay, you're gonna be using coordinating colors that go with your cardstock. So in my case, I looked at this paper and I said, okay, this is Bird Ballad, and I need black, basic gray, Bermuda bay, Calypso coral, crumb cake, daffodil delight, old olive, petal pink, pool party, smoky slate, soft suede, whisper white. This gave me so many choices, and that's why I was like, oh, well that's easy, I have some of those colors already, and so I already know I can do this project. Okay, so I'm not using every single color, but I'm going to use a coordinating color. So I'm going to use old olive, and then you're going to need your ink that coordinates. You need a stamp set that coordinates, and I've done a lot of pre-preparation for this. And we're not going to do every step, but I just wanted to tell you what you'll need to be able to complete this project yourself. So you get your paper trimmer, and Stampin' Up! Discontinued our paper trimmer. Can you believe it? But we don't know what's coming out, but they are going to come out with something else. And I'm not sure what they're going to come out with. Okay, so I'm using the Stampin' Up! One. Whatever paper trimmer you have is fine. Because it's over 6 inches, I need to put out this arm. My little piece of washi tape is there as a reminder sometimes of where I left off. Okay, so I have a cutting and a scoring blade. They don't come labeled like that, but the C is for cut and the S is for score. I'm only cutting now. I'm not actually going to score because I'm going to score using a different tool. All right, so what you need is the length of the paper needs to be 6.75 inches. Okay, I'm going to cut that and then I'll show you it closer up. So 6.75 inches. And I'm cutting it. Now, get rid of this piece, but you can make another one out of this side too. Okay, and then, so I'm going to just show you that close up because this is the part that I don't want you to miss. So 6.75 inches. So these are those longer lines. Let me just press focus here. Focus. Focus. There we go. It's focused. See, those longer lines are 1/4 inches. So right there, 6.75. And I'll have this in the description of the video too. Now we're going to turn it and we're going to make it 2 inches wide. Exactly 2 inches. Okay? So not the scoring one, we need the cutting. Okay? 2 inches. And we can do a few of those. I mean, while you're at it, you just cut up a lot of your cardstock. Make sure you don't go over 2 inches. It'll when you go to punch it, which you also need is a punch, whatever punch you have. I'm using a new punch by Stampin' Up. So when you go to punch it, you're gonna have to, like if it's too wide, it won't fit in the punch, right? So you wanna make sure that it's like 2 inches or slightly smaller. All right, so we have our pieces cut. So there we go. Now, we need to score. So we could have scored using the paper trimmer, but I prefer using simply scored. Okay, that's what I prefer. That's a tool that is still available by Stampin' Up. And the reason I prefer it is because I make so many things when I'm crafting. In fact, after I've done this video, I'll just start mass producing. I'll just turn on my Netflix on my phone after my phone uploads, and I'm gonna be like, okay, mass producing. So I like this because I don't have to think. There's these little markers on my Simply Scored, and it just lets me know where I need to score. Okay, at 3 and 3.75. Okay, so I'm scoring at 3 and 3.75. And I do that over and over again. Remember, our length is, we're doing it along the length, the 6.75. You know, by 2. Remember, we did it by 6.75 by 2. So now I can just move that off to the side and score again and score again. And I don't have to think because there's little markers there. So my productivity tip for, sorry, I have to cough. I don't mean to cough into my microphone, but my voice is getting scratchy. I did a team meeting right before this. All right, so my productivity tip is to definitely do all of your cutting at once, do all of your scoring, you know, do all of your punching, etc., etc. All right, so we're done those two. So now we have those steps done. So now we're going to fold these. And you don't actually have to fold them before you punch them, but I just like to fold them a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to put the punch. This, by the way, this punch is called the Delightful Tag Topper Punch. And it is available today at my store, this new punch. And somebody already bought this punch, so I'm pretty excited about that. And here is the punch that I've had for years. And this will work too. So, I mean, if you like punches, this one's called Scallop Tag Topper Punch. In fact, I'll do one of each just to compare. How about that? So let's punch. So you have to, but use definitely punch the same, like both sides on this one punch, the same punch. Don't punch one side with one punch and one side with the other. Just do the whole thing so that they match up. Okay, so that's the delightful, let's turn it over, Delightful Tag Topper Punch. And now let's do the Scallop Tag Topper Punch. And I would fold it, I'm just folded a little bit first, fold along the score lines. So I don't have to do it later. Okay, and punch. I'm using, notice how I'm palming it. And sometimes people at my workshops, they try to lift this up in the air and punch, and I'm like, that hurts. Like, definitely lay it down on a hard surface and punch that way. These are our little pieces we need. All right, so let's compare the two. This is the old, let's turn this over. This is the, and this both will work for this project, Scallop Tag Topper Punch, and this is the Delightful Tag Topper Punch. And what I like about the Delightful Tag Topper Punch, the new punch, is that the holes are like, it's smaller, and so the ribbon stays in there. You can use like smaller ribbon this time and it won't fall out. This one you have to use kind of like the thicker ribbon, velvety ribbon, tie something else or it kind of falls out. Okay, so that's what I like about that. So anyway, we're done with the punching. Well, we're done with the Scallop Tag Topper Punch. We can go ahead and punch one more in case we mess up. We don't need to do that many for you to get the idea, but let's punch one more. Okay. I want you to learn how to do it, and you don't have to sit there and watch me cut and score and glue and everything else to learn how to do it. But I just needed you to visualize this part. This is the tricky part maybe. And then people asked me already, a viewer was already asking like, well, how do you close in the sides? So I'm going to show you that next. All right, so here we go. So now I just want to talk about what I would do now. So let's move that out of the way. And when I make these though, I wanted to just cut them the way you saw me cut them. Okay, I cut them. This is like a page of cardstock. Each one of these. This is Bermuda Bay, Pool Party, Calypso Coral, Old Olive, I think that's more than one sheet. Smoky Slate. Okay, so what I did is I got the cardstock that I had in my stash, and I used my brother's ScanNCut. I'm not going to show that right now because that's another tutorial altogether, but I just want to show you that, like, I do it that way. Okay, so I hardly ever use my paper trimmer anymore. I cut all the pieces out, my brother's ScanNCut, and then I have this nice big piece left over, which I can punch sentiments out of and punch circles out of and punch other things out of. Okay, so you create a template and use that again and again. But for the intents and purposes, I want everybody to be able to benefit from this video, not just people that have that machine. Anybody can make these using the tools from Stampin' Up. You can just use your paper trimmer like we did. Okay, again, I would cut out these pieces using the brother's ScanNCut. These little pieces that go around the sides. But we can cut them with the paper trimmer just once, just for good measure. We'll cut one. I'll cut this feather, the feather one, because I like it. And it makes a cute little border. So put down paper trimmer again. And this time you only need this to be 3/4 of an inch. Okay, that's it. So you can see that. So here's an inch, and we need it to be 3/4 of an inch. So each of these, I like this paper trimmer. I like well, sorry, it's not available anymore. Boo hiss. Okay, I like it because each one of these is 1/4 inch. So when I have to cut small things, I do like using this paper trimmer. All right, so I'm just gonna, and this is a good way to use up your scraps too, is making these little bands for your nugget treats. Oops, I forgot to do, and see, my ScanNCut wouldn't have done that. It would have gotten clean cut. Anyway, so now we have this strip of 3/4 inch by 12, and now we just cut it in half because we only need 6 inches. We only need it to be 6 inches wide, so we get 2 of them. We get 2 of those out of the 12-inch strip. So now we have 2 little bands to go around the side, okay? So that's just how to cut those. I don't want you to miss any steps. Just because I cut them all ahead of time, you could still see how I did it. So now I'm taking out the Stampin' Simply Score it again. And I am going to do the little bands. And we don't need to do that many, just a couple, but I always extra in case I mess up. So I like this one because it has flowers and it makes a nice border around the outside, and I think that's going to go good with the Old Olive. And I do like these little feathers, so we'll do one with the feathers. But know that all these little sheets will coordinate, so it doesn't matter which patterns you pick, they'll all coordinate. All right, so let's talk about this band. You need it to be, okay, 2 inches wide. Then you need 3/4 inches on the sides, another 2 inches wide, and 3/4 inches on the side. However, you also need, so if you add those all up, you also have an extra 1/2 inch left over, because that's going to be the part that you tuck in and you glue. So you need, glue for this, or rolling adhesive. So we go 2 inches. That's one. Now we got that covered. Now we need to go 2 3/4 inches. And I hope these aren't going to confuse my crafty friends. Let's move these out of the way. Okay, 2 3/4 inches. Now we're at 3/4 inches, and now we have to go to 1 inch more, 2 inch more. That's for the opposite side. So we have 4 3/4 inches. And then we need 3/4 of an inch more, so we go to 5 1/2. Okay, you're probably like, how do you have this memorized? I do it so much. I make these so much that it's memorized, and you'll memorize it too. You can just feel free to use this craft anytime, and people love it at craft fairs. And okay, so that's what we're making. So let's do one more of those for review. Where did the little flower go? Okay, so we have 2 inches, 2 inches, 2 3/4 inches. I'll have all this in the description. There we go, 4 3/4 inches, and 5 1/2. Okay, and then we pick it up, and sometimes you can't see the score lines. Here, you have to turn it over. Sometimes the one side of the paper, you can't see them. Okay, so there we go. Then we fold it along the score lines, and you should have this little band like that. Okay, so now let's get rid of the scoreboard again. After I've done the video, I'm going to be scoring all these. These are going with my new catalog survival kits for all my new customers. The ones that didn't get theirs yet are getting extra special treats because they had to wait for my new catalogs to show up. So they're getting extra treats from different samples from different sweets. Only because I just can't stop making stuff. And because I value my customers. Okay, so anyway, let's get going. This little flap here has to be glued. and you can use glue or rolling adhesive. I'm just using my tape glider. So I'm just pressing down and rolling a couple. I'll put that up near the light so you can see. See, I'm just putting rolling adhesive on this little flap, and I'm just closing it in. So there you go. And I just get it snug. So again, when you're doing things for crafting, you just do mass production. You mass produce. So you do a bunch of these. You glue all the flaps, or use rolling adhesive. And I have a little bit coming off. Okay, and you just tuck those under. Oops. Okay, and you just want a little edge. You just want it to glue or tape along the edge. Sorry, my camera's shaking. Okay, so now we have a bunch of those, and you've done maybe 10, 20 of those. However many you're going to do, just do them all at once. Now you're going to take this little tag, and you're going to lay a line of rolling adhesive like that and like that. Not along the bottom. Leave the bottom free, but right along a line here and a line there. Okay, now you're going to take it and stand it up, and you're going to take the little thing that goes around the side, otherwise your nuggets will fall right out, and you push it down onto the table. Okay, keep it flat onto the table, stick your fingers in there and seal the adhesive. Frenchie, I want to know if you approve of this video when it's all done, and hope you got the concept. All right, and all my other crafty friends too. So that's it. So we're going to stand it up, we're going to lay it down. Oh, that's the other one. Doesn't matter though. Okay, we put a line of rolling adhesive, not along the bottom, along the sides. We stand it up. We push this down. Okay, and it doesn't really matter. There is sort of a front and there is sort of a back, and the back I would call this the back, meaning, let me just focus. The part with the little seam, I would call the back. So, I probably would decorate the front, but it doesn't really matter because you can't really see the seam. But if you want to call this the front, then call that the front. And the part with the little seam, where the little seam is, we're going to call that the back. So let's stand those there, and we're going to decorate them. So now, you take your coordinating ribbon, which I told part of what you need for this tutorial is some ribbon that coordinates. I'm using, this one's already on back order, I think, or it's going on back order. Organdy striped ribbon, petal pink. Okay, this one's great because it's like it kind of stretches a little. So anyway, so when I measure my ribbon, I stick a stamp set down, and I lay it down diagonally, and I just get my scissors, and let me make sure that's in the camera view. Okay, so we'll cut a piece of each ribbon. So I just sort of cut it like that. Get it? It's kind of at a weird angle. Okay, and don't worry that it doesn't match up because we match it up later. Not quite the length. When I do a regular bookmark, actually, I make it the whole length of the stamp set. But when I'm doing my tag treats, I make it like not quite the whole length of the stamp set. Let's do a couple more. This one is Daffodil Delight. It's almost out. It looks like I need more. Double stitch ribbon. So there. I don't know, something got on that one. Here, I don't know what got on that ribbon, but let's cut that piece off. So we have Daffodil Delight, double stitch ribbon, and I'm at a weird angle, so I'm not cutting it right. Okay, stick that ribbon over there. We'll do one more. We'll do Bermuda Bay, because I need them anyway. You can watch me craft. Okay, Bermuda Bay. This was actually a prize from my team. Lead Hattie. Mini striped ribbon. And I was thrilled to get this prize. And at the time, I'm like, what do I have to match? And then, of course, I had all kinds of stuff to match when you think about it. Okay, so there you go. So there's a 3-piece of ribbon. So you get your ribbons all. And again, I would do like 20 ribbons. I would do like, however many of these pieces. You just do all your pieces at once. And now we're going to tie these on here. So the way I tie them on is let's just look at which one we need. This one's going to go good with that, the Bermuda Bay. So we're gonna make a little loop with the ribbon like that. Cross it over. Make sure I'm focused here. Okay. And now I'm gonna see how I'm flipping it just like that. And now I'm gonna loop it through. I'm gonna push it through the hole. Like so. And when it comes out the other side, I still have that same shape and I can loop it. Okay, there. And pull it snug, and then you do your little snaps. You do your little snap with your scissors, not snap, snip. Snip where you kind of make them even. Remember I told you they don't have to be even then. I make them shorter, and at the same angles. Okay, pretty cool. So that way I trim them so that they're at the same angles. Okay, let's do one more. Let's do this striped Daffodil Delight double stitched ribbon. Okay, we're gonna flip that like so. We're gonna put it through the hole, pull it there, and we're gonna loop it. Okay, and we're gonna pull. Okay, and now we're going to trim, we'll snip. And I'm just right-handed, so I'm just doing it kind of this way, but okay, you're just snipping it so that they're kind of even and at the right angles. Okay, so now clear some space. So you would then take your stamp set and you would mount it onto the stamping blocks, and you would stamp it in coordinating color. So I stamped my sentiments in Bermuda Bay and Old Olive. Okay, and so I just want to show you like what I did, but I don't want to ink it up and do all the stamping just for the sake of time. So I took the stamp out of here. These are called cling stamps. They come with these really awesome stickers as well that help them cling on to the stamps. But I just like to stick them. I don't use the stickers. I just stick them right onto my acrylic blocks like so. So I took it off just to show you. I stuck it. So I took it out of the case, stuck it onto my stamping block, tap, 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 inked around, okay? And that's how I did it. So I just used Old Olive or Bermuda Bay. I took sentiments from the Free as a Bird stamp set, and this is how they came out, and then I punched them. And I'm not gonna do all that because that would take forever, because I told you I mass produce, and I made a bunch of these ahead of time. So thank you would be, so like this would be Old Olive, right, with the petal pink from the paper. I just stamped right onto designer stitch paper. This is Bermuda Bay, stamped onto the same petal pink paper. And this is Old Olive stamped onto the Daffodil Delight with the little feet. Okay, so that's just a couple variations, and that's it. So now, I'm just gonna put adhesive on the back of, let's see which one we'll use. We'll use this one. We'll use the thank you. We'll use the thank you on this one. So I'm just sticking adhesive on it. And for that, I'll show you that in a second. So you can put that there. And then for this one, let's use, because you don't want to use Old Olive on the Old Olive. You see what I mean? You want to use, this is a layer. It's a circle. So you wouldn't want to put a circle of Old Olive around on that one. You'd want to put the Bermuda Bay. It's still a coordinating color, but it contrasts with the background. Okay, so you can just use you could use glue, you could use Stampin' Dimensionals, whatever you want to use for your adhesive. Glue, Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm just going to use little dimensionals just because these just happen to be in reach. I would actually use the bigger dimensionals, but I cannot reach them right now. So I'm going to use the small ones. Okay, so it doesn't matter. Just if you're using small ones, you need a few of them. If you're using the big ones, you just need one. Okay, so let's put those there. Okay, now my brother ScanNCut fans are going to like this next part. So the next part is that I use embellishments. So these are already cute though. I like them as they are. They're cute as can be already. And let's use embellishments like that we cut out with the brother ScanNCut. I showed you how to cut these out. So I just take him, the little bird with the little layer on him, and I'm just going to put a little dot of glue on there. Actually maybe a little bit more glue than that. I don't need glue on the sides, just sort of in the middle, because I want them to stick to the, this glue is going fast. Okay, so I just put a little bit of glue and then stick it on. I just want it to stick onto the embellishment. I don't care if it touches the bottom part, I just want it to stick onto the embellishment. Okay, and then let's get one that doesn't have a layer around it. Okay, so it looks cute too, and I'm going to compare that in just a minute. I did a few ahead of time just to compare with and without layers. So we'll put a little bit of glue on it, and we put that on there like that. So it's really cute as it is. And then you take, for your nuggets, I'm not going to be showing you how to cut out the nugget wrappers because I've showed that probably 20 times on my channel before. But these are the nuggets that are wrapped up already. And so you need nuggets, but I mean, I already have some wrappers cut up. I mean, not cut, yeah, cut up. So you have 1 inch by 3 inch or 3.25 inch. So 1 inch by 3.25 inch works good. So I've done this so many times, but that's okay. Not all, maybe I have some new viewers that don't do nugget treats yet. And I'm always doing nugget treats, crafty friends. Okay, so we're putting a little bit of adhesive on there. We're gonna wrap a nugget like so. Never use glue on your nuggets. Never use glue on any food items, not liquid glue. I mean, use rolling adhesive, but don't use liquid glue because you don't want it to seep in. That one didn't get any adhesive on. You don't want it to seep into your candies. Okay, so there's a little bit of adhesive, and let's get one more. So we have 1, 2, 3, and we need one more. We need one more nugget, so we need one more wrapper. I really like this antique key side of the paper. And again, how did I cut those? With my brother ScanNCut. I of course cut out all the nugget wrappers with my brother ScanNCut. That's what I do. I hardly ever use my paper trimmer anymore, especially when I'm mass producing these projects. All right, so there we go. We have our little nuggets, and I always put them in at the end. And you're probably wondering why, because I like to just decorate the boxes first, and then I just like to shove them in the sides at the end, because I think that the ribbon, from my experience of all the times I've done these, the ribbon just stays snug when you shove these in later. But when you try to tie it on after, it's like a little bit harder. But see how easy the 2 nuggets just slipped right in there. And it's good to decorate them with paper. But again, if you don't have time for all that, you don't want to decorate your nuggets, I mean, it's still adorably cute, just shoving the nuggets in the side, right? Then people will know what they are. But I just think wrapping them in the coordinating paper is much better, okay? And then I would take my labels, which I put labels on everything, and I would put that, on the back here. The bird ballad. Well, this is if I'm sending it with my survival kits to say what it is. Or else I'd put the label, like, I'd put these in a bag, like in the samples, and what I would do is I'd put the label like right on the bag, and I would give like the whole bag to someone with maybe a bunch of bird ballad stuff. All right, so lastly, I'm going to compare. I want to show you. So we've just made these. So now you know how to make the nugget treats. Well, all the measurements will be in the description. In fact, I'm going to type that up while the video is loading, because sometimes I say things are going to be in the description, and it takes me forever to get back to writing the descriptions. All right, so we have, let me just kind of put these at an angle just because of the glare on the camera. Okay, there's an angle, and you can see these. So now, those are the ones we just made. I want to compare the different ones I made earlier just to show you, some different variations of the same thing. So you have your nugget treats with, this is Calypso Coral, and this is the little feet around the bottom. And this doesn't have the layered circle in the background, and I still think it looks good. And I stamped further down on the circle. I used the 1.5 inch circle punch, and then I used a 1 3/4 inch circle punch for the outer layer. And you can use circle punches, or you can use your ScanNCut to cut out your circles. Okay, but what I'm saying is it doesn't even need a background, a border. It still looks cool like this. The bird doesn't need an extra background border. He still looks cool like this. Okay, the Daffodil Delight matches the bottom, the little bird feet. Okay, so that's just one variation, and then you can go one step further, and you can say, okay, well, we're going to use the bird, and he's looking backwards, and now you have the layer, and you have the extra feather. Okay, so you have an extra element, and it still looks good, and I think it looks as good as the other one, and it's still cute. But then you can go one step further with your treats here, and you can do, or this is 2, 3, 4 steps further. You can take your bird, and you can put an outline around your bird. I showed how to do this in the tutorial with the brother ScanNCut. You can add extra feathers, you can add extra layers for your sentiment, and here's what else you can do. So here's the pink, petal pink ribbon, but then you could take a piece of, this is old olive twine that comes in the magnolia something sweet. Good Morning Magnolia it's called, and there's this ribbon that comes with it, ribbon pack, and in the ribbon pack, it comes with the old olive, here, I can tell you what it's called. Here it is, Magnolia Lane Ribbon Combo Pack. And in that combo pack, it said it had old olive twine. So I knew the old olive twine would match this, and I just added that extra ribbon of old olive twine. So you can go simple and quick. You can go one step further with extra feathers. Of course, I cut those out with the ScanNCut. Or you can go one step further and tie the twine onto it. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to make Hershey Nugget Treats. And let me know what you think in the comments. And I hope I will see you on my store. I don't even know where the address went. Okay, and I hope I see you shopping at my store, Papered, here we go, paperedchef.stampinup.net. And happy catalog launch day, my crafty friends. See you next time. This is the Papered Chef.